Hey, this is Yazuki Wolf, and today I'm going to be showing you my daily warm-up routine. I am still working on manga videos, but the non-digital work tends to take me longer to like get the camera out and like record, and then like splice video footage together and like adjust for lighting and things. And in the meantime, I figured I'll get some digital content out there because doing things digitally generally takes a lot less time. I just click the record button on the computer screen and just start talking. So it's a fairly quick and easy way for me to get some content up for you on the site instead of having you wait perpetually for a new manga video. But anyway, so getting to the topic at hand, these are just my kind of daily warm up. Sketches, I guess you could call them, or it's basically a daily warm-up routine to kind of get you in the proper state of mind for a day of illustration, or even just to keep you from getting rusty on days where you can't do a lot of illustration because you're going to be out and about or whatever. It usually takes only about a half hour to do, so there's no real excuse not to do it. But just to show you what I was doing at first, so here I have my sketch folder, and within here I have my dailies folder. And the older dailies I was doing is basically I would just get a really big, long piece of paper. Well, you know, it's a digital document, I guess. And I'd keep it very low resolution so that it's not one. It doesn't get too heavy because this is something we're going to be doing on a daily basis, hopefully. And also, just it prevents you from getting overly detailed in your work because it's meant to be just a quick thing to get your day started. And you can see here I kind of was breaking this up each day. So this was the 29th of January, this is the 30th of January. And I would generally just do a couple quick 30-second to maybe a minute and a half figure drawings. And then I would kind of do a simple drawing just to kind of... Oh, hello dog. I don't know if you can hear that on the video, but there's a dog barking hysterically outside. But anyways, yeah, so I was saying that then I would just kind of get a quick sketch of something done to kind of like get my brain functioning properly. And then that kind of evolved into studies to kind of like try to learn some quick like information that I could find. Like here's like a study on proportions for anatomy. Then I did some studies on like the positions for faces. It's a study from I think it was like a YouTube video I saw. Let's see, what's this say? Surrounded by design method. This thing's from FESDA school. I don't remember exactly, but just like I would generally just do the quick figure drawings and then a quick study of something to kind of just start off the day. And the problem that I found with this was that since there was no real clear defined how you say like days, like here's the 29th and here's the 30th, but then here you don't know what day this is or what day this is, and it kind of allowed me to get away with slacking off because at the end of it, once this thing is all filled up, you know, it looks like I did a lot of work, but you know, here it's starting in January, and it was supposed to be something I was doing every day, but I probably skipped a lot of days. I don't know if I put a date on any of these end ones, but I think it probably didn't end until like, yeah, here we go. So it's already February 23rd, and really this probably could have finished this up in a month, but I was skipping days. And the things that afterwards when you look at it, it doesn't, how do you say, you can't tell that you were skipping, so you kind of get away with it. And I didn't really like that. So what I kind of evolved things into, after getting some like advice from people at work. This is sort of how my the head of the illustration or design department at my work does his daily warm ups. He has this kind of sectioned off, and he does one of these per day. And that seemed like a pretty cool system, and I tested it out, but then I kind of wanted to combine that with what I was doing before. So what I came up with, and you don't have to follow this exactly, but if it does help you, then please go ahead and steal it or adjust it to however you want to do it. But so here we are. I set it up an actual calendar. So this is the end of August. That's when I started this. So this is August 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Then each day we do 5 30-second figure drawings and then 5 90-second figure drawings. And if you don't know where to go to do figure drawings, I'll show you that in a minute. But after doing that, then I have a space over here to just do a daily study. And most of what I've been studying lately is just how to draw the anime slash manga Japanese style faces, because being that I work in Japan, it's been a really big I don't know, struggling point, I guess, because they're very, very specific about how they like their faces. Like, even looking at this, I could tell you that this one on top, I think probably I could hand in at work and not have a problem, but this one on the bottom, I don't know, I think the eyes probably need some work. It's kind, and maybe they want me to change the nose and so forth. But yeah, I didn't draw that. That was just like a reference figure. But yeah, here too, like I can see like these are pretty bad. Like and the thing I found is like it's really hard to say what's wrong with it. I think it's just a matter of like you see a lot of Japanese art and you start to kind of just get a feel for what the style should look like. And so, you know, I went through a lot of tutorials and stuff, and I've looked for a lot of stuff online. And you know, I won't go too much into this because I want to probably do this as a separate video once I actually have like I feel fairly comfortable with a system for this. But just doing tutorials and stuff, there's still just something about like the way that you draw it that just sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and I'm trying to really crack down on what it is that makes it work, you know. So like this one down here is probably much better. Like this, I think I probably better for to hand in. This, I kind of like this as its own thing. I don't know if I would get away with this in my at work or not, but and this one down here I think is pretty well done. And by well done I mean in mimicking the actual Japanese style. But anyways, that's something for another video. So that's sort of what I'm studying right now, just kind of trying to work out what it is that makes a Japanese style picture, and what is it that tells them when they look at it that this is a non-Japanese person trying to draw in a Japanese style. Like what is it that's making that's causing that to be yeah, I want to say boderu in Japanese, but what would you say in English? What is it that's making that stand out as not being authentic, right? And so that's sort of what I've been studying. But getting back to the daily warm-ups, so we have our daily figure drawings, then we have our daily studies. And now to kind of show you how to do that, I'm actually gonna go through it, go through my daily warm-up today. So let me move this camera and sorry for the craziness. Here, move about right here-ish, I think is pretty good. Yeah, that should work. Okay, so first thing is, if you don't know it yet, this is a very good site to know. It is posemaniacs.com. On the right side of the screen here, it's www.posemaniacs.com. That's posemaniacs.com. It's a very useful website. I highly recommend it. Basically, what it does is you see these 3D 3D figures here that you can actually get to come up randomly within like 30-second or 90-second or 10, 15, or however interval you want, and then it gives you a good way to kind of just look at those and do quick figure drawings. So generally what I do is, first off, I come back to my document in, this is Clip Studio Pro. I mean, you can use Photoshop or anything else, it doesn't really matter, but I have a separate layer for my for drawing layer first. And so I skipped the 13th because I had intended to do this video for you guys today, and this morning I did the 14th, so this will be my second time doing this today. But it's for the video, I think that's okay. And so let's see here. First, I'm going to hit Tab to make the screen bigger. I'm going to move over to one of my spaces, and then we're going to go over here. And first off, we're going to do 5 30-second drawings. So we're going to hit 30 seconds and click Start. I'm generally not very good at speaking and talking at the same time, and probably when speaking and drawing at the same time. So you can see right there, I'm not very good at that. So, and when you're doing this, you might not want to be talking either, because you kind of want to focus on the drawing, especially when you're doing only like 30 seconds, because it's really hard to kind of do that with if you're not focused. But I'm going to do my best, and if I shut up and stop talking, you'll know why. It's just because I'm trying to get the drawing down, because I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to do this while talking. Right, so let's see, this goes here. Yeah, see, I didn't even finish that. So this is what I do when I don't finish. I just erase it because I'm just trying to get warmed up, just trying to start my day. I'm not really worrying too much about like getting it perfect the first time. It's kind of the first couple times usually I'm too slow, and so that's why I kind of just delete it and start over until I start speeding up enough that I actually get everything down within the time frame. Alright, got like a foot here, and since it's only 30 seconds, I'm not trying to get overly detailed. You know, I'm just trying to get the basic information there. That one's, I'm gonna move on, but I may delete that one. I may delete that one as well afterwards. So let's see here, get to that. And in terms of how I'm actually proportioning the person, that's gonna have to be another video. But generally, I don't have just like one particular method. I've learned, I've kind of just studied a number of different methods from a number of different people on like YouTube, and plus, you know, actually going to school and having teachers like kind of tell you a whole bunch of different techniques and so forth. And depending on the pose, I may use a different technique. So I don't have just like one sort of method for all poses. Seems like some poses kind of maybe might work better with one specific technique, and others would maybe work better with a different technique. Right. And now I can tell, I think that this doesn't really have the right perspective, but I'm not too worried about that. Is this really 30 seconds? It seems like it's, I think this is like, I think it's stuck. It is. Feels like more than 30 seconds have passed. Give it a little bit longer, and then if it doesn't switch, we'll restart it. Yeah, his legs are too spread out. Yeah, still not particularly good. But yeah, I think this is frozen. So let me try this again. Hold on a second. It is not, definitely should not take that long. 30 seconds. Okay, start. I'm not particularly happy with this, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, try again. And I've heard from one of my teachers when I was in school here that there's a certain amount of garbage that you have inside of you that you have to just kind of get out before you can get the good stuff. So you don't really have to worry about everything being perfect right off the bat, because the more ones that you draw that are bad, the easier it's going to start to get the good stuff out later. And it's just kind of like if you're too scared about messing up, then you're never going to start. And if you never start, then you're never going to get better. So don't worry about it, just get the garbage out. That is not an easy pose. So you got like one arm coming here, fist over here. Yeah, I'm being quiet because I realized that talking was not working and I was not getting things done quickly enough. Maybe I'll talk in the next phase. Let's feel like my computer's lagging from being on video. And let's kind of resize a couple of these. Okay, so 30 seconds is just kind of just get your muscles moving. I'm not really trying to do the best figures ever because well, maybe eventually I will be able to do that, but right now I'm not quite fast enough, so it's more just kind of just getting things moving. And then now that I kind of gotten used to doing it quicker, then I could go back, and now I'm going to give myself 90 seconds so I can get a little bit more detailed, and hopefully also have time to actually correct mistakes. Alright, so here we go. And there's a lot of different techniques for this, for doing the figure drawings. Like, yeah, I'm gonna try to fix this now. You can kind of see there's like a flow to it. Like, see how this moves this way, and then it moves back this way. You see that a lot, even with like your hands and arms and other parts. And with the body, you often have like shapes like this, where you have one side that's stretching and the other side that's crunching. And there's other like negative space techniques, where you kind of look at the negative space between different body parts. And like I said, there's just so many different techniques that I don't really say that there's just one kind of end-all technique. I think you just kind of have to try to learn whatever you can of whatever you can, and then when you're actually drawing, you'll kind of see which technique works for which situation. And exaggeration is okay, especially if you're working in Japan. I've had a lot of experience here where like actually drawing things too realistically becomes an issue. Like, they want some deformation, like an overly athletic build, or like perfectly like a perfect anatomy can actually be seen as boring here because it doesn't really have the action or flow. But that doesn't mean you don't have to learn anatomy. You definitely have to learn it. But then it's like once you learn it, then you kind of learn where you can kind of exaggerate it. I am by no means an expert. As I mentioned in my other video, that I'm just learning, I'm trying to improve, and I'm sharing stuff that I find that it seems to be working for me. And if it works for you and it helps you improve, then that's all the better. And if you want me to go into actual details about my method for drawing figures and things, I could do that in future videos, but there's so much stuff already available online, so I mean, I'm sure if you searched, you could find a lot of different techniques and tutorials and so forth. I'm not so concerned if I don't get the exact pose in the picture. As long as what I have is a viable pose, then I'm okay with it. So like right now, you can see that my legs are a little bit further apart. But if I stress too much about that, I won't be able to get it done within the 90 seconds. So I'm just trying to make sure that I have a viable pose here. Also, I think that it's kind of a different skill to be able to draw something to what would you say it? Creating your own pose and copying a pose, or like drawing something by eye and actually creating it yourself are like two different skills, I think. So if I kind of feel that if you can just make a viable pose yourself that doesn't necessarily isn't a photographic copy of what you're referencing, I think that that's a plus. You probably want to put a little bit of your own personality into your drawings otherwise. Anyways, I'm sorry. Because ultimately, if you're just trying to copy, well, we already have photography. But now when you're doing studies, that might be different. So right now this is more warm up, and also I kind of have some plans to actually use these. So in sort of my production method, I like going back and looking at these sketches that I've done, and if there's a pose that I think looks interesting, I may use it, and then I would kind of exaggerate maybe a little bit more after that when I use it. Or maybe like change certain parts of the pose as well, just kind of to fit whatever I want to use it for. But yeah, if you're doing a study, then you kind of want to get that experience of copying and not copying, but actually really observing what you're drawing. Now I got a big muscle guy, but I'm pretty happy with what I got, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on from there. Alright, so next I'm going to show you, well, okay, I don't want to get too detailed into this because, like I said, I probably would want to do another video on this in the future, in terms of studying the faces here. But yeah, I'll just show you a little bit of kind of how I do this study. Then maybe I'll do a part 2 where I go into more detail. So I have this kind of graph up here that I made, and I kind of use this as, I kind of reuse this each day. And because a lot of, well, let me move the screen so you don't really need to see Pose Maniacs anymore. Alright, there we go. Yeah, you know what, I think I'm actually going to split this into a second video. So that will be, so this is my daily routine. I'm going to continue to draw this face here, and then in the next video, in maybe a week or so, I'll do a video where I actually go into the details of what it is I'm doing here with these face studies here. So that's all for today, and I'll see you again next time. Yoroshiku.